When you're racing through the heat of the day, cool off with a Smirnoff Ice. Now available in pineapple, but always be responsible. Back here, ladies and gentlemen, at Legacy Studios, two topics tonight. The first video has to do with the Kentucky Derby and a look ahead to the Preakness. But we begin with Dave Pasquale and Ted Arnaud looking back and always dreaming smooth getaway from the gate in a crowded field of 19. And simply, as they like to say, off to the races, good grip on a sloppy track, and this horse wins going away. Dave Pasquale, you begin.
Well, Always Dreaming certainly didn't have any problem with the off track. You know, he won it by 2 3/4 lengths, but in reality, it was more of a dominating victory than just by 2 3/4 lengths. The only thing that was a little bit surprising to me is that they finished out in 2:03 and 3/5 of a second, which is pretty slow. They walked home after setting blazing fast fractions. The fractions were 22.3 for the quarter and about 46.2 for the half mile. Those are very fast fractions when it comes to a mile and a quarter race. But as I said before, they walked home, and that was the same time or around the same time that California Chrome did it back a few years ago. But fast enough to get the win, and nothing came up on him from behind. The only one that made a half-decent close was looking at Lee, and he did end up finishing second. Those early runners, State of Honor and Irish War Cry, just crumbled under the pressure and fell back to, I think, Irish War Cry was about 10th, and State of Honor finished 19th. The only horse that he beat was Thunderstone. That's because Thunderstone broke down and acted more like a bronco coming out of the gate than he did a racehorse.
And by the way, that was the first time that Irish War Cry actually was involved in a horse race that had a muddy track. That was the very first time, and obviously you can understand why he didn't do as well as everybody thought. Ted, this is Todd Pletcher's second Kentucky Derby victory, and he has saddled 45 horses in his previous derbies. And that just goes to show you why this is such a tough one to grasp and win, and especially when you think about what it can do for someone leading up to May 20th in the Preakness. So this is a tough race to get a victory in.
It is. It would just show you, look at the statistics, and he's a great trainer, great track record, but this is a tough race. And then to try and couple it with a Preakness win, which is a speed race, and then a distance race in the Belmont, it just shows you why there's only been one Triple Crown winner in the last 30 or so years. So it's going to be fun. It's good to watch a winner who has had that kind of a victory and kind of project what he can do in these next races. But as Dave can tell you, they're tough. I mean, you might have some speed racers that are going to come out for the Preakness and then have somebody sit back for the Belmont and take a little bit of an ease, not work out as hard, be ready, be more conditioned and eased to go. And it's just tough. So it's exciting. I think it's exciting to have a horse that won by that kind of a margin so that you can kind of project what could happen.
Dave, in closing, do you expect the same horses to be involved in that finish at Preakness coming up on May 20th? Horses like Always Dreaming, Looking at Lee, Battle of Midway. Do you think those horses are still the horses to beat going into the second leg of horse racing's Triple Crown?
Yeah, I think the only way that you're going to beat Always Dreaming in the Preakness is that they've got to stick a rabbit in there. Somebody's got to really press the pace and tar him, much like Keen Ice did in the Travers a couple of years ago against American Pharaoh. You know, he beat American Pharaoh, and the only way he beat him, or would have beat him, is if Frosted hadn't running down for about 3/4 of that race, and then Keen Ice had something left, came from behind, and finished ahead of American Pharaoh. Teddy, don't you think that that's probably what they're going to need to catch Always Dreaming in this race?
Yeah, I think this is a tough one. I think I think this one, he's certainly the clear and definitive leader. Obviously, in the Belmont, as you well know, Dave, there's stuff that comes out of the woodworks, horses that have been sitting on the side. But this one, I don't know how they really challenge him on this one.
Hey, Ted, I got to ask you, we're just, across the Ohio River from Mountaineer, which is a great place to go and watch one of these races. And also, you got that West Virginia Derby that you made famous over there. But Prescott Down, as far as Erie, a place you know all too well, as far as horse racing is concerned, you put a beautiful synthetic track there that really this part of the country has never seen the likes of and may never again. Where are we right now with horse racing? And you and I have such passion for it, and it means so much to the economy. And I can attest to so many of my friends that have worked at Mountaineer because of that success that you had there and are still making a good living working in various divisions and departments of that great company. But where are we with horse racing right now in this country, Ted?
Well, what's happened is you've got a bit of a diminution of the concentration on horse racing at the various tracks, and it's the big races are always going to do well. It's the day in, day out the horse trainers and the breeders that bring in the West Virginia bred, the other Ohio breds up in Ohio. They're having a rough go of it, and you've got if you look at the number of horses that are in a given race, and you look at the purses that are in a given race, it's starting to decline because of the competition, because of how it's been diluted amongst the casinos and other gaming venues. But for the big races, I still think you're going to see a very strong following.
Dave, I'll give you the last word. You want to comment on that?
Well, I think Teddy is so much more astute at that than I would be. But I think they got to keep the quality of the horse racing, the quality of the horses, and the quality of the trainers that they bring into these various tracks at a very high level in order to get to stimulate the interest. And I think they got to make it easier for people to enter into horse racing. I did it for 5 years, and it's a tough business. You really got to spend a lot of money to get into it and stay into it, and you got to have good trainers that know what they're doing with horse flesh.
Of course.
Hey, you know what they say? You want to make $1 million in thoroughbred racing, you start off with 10.
Hey, I'm just looking to make cab fare, guys. Okay, that's all.
Yeah.
Dave Pasquale, Ted Arnaud on the AT&T Sports Line. We're coming back talking NFL next at Legacy Studios.